with Jonathan Fontes with Diamond Ridge Construction, and y'all are tuning in to The Real Russellville. Y'all, I am so thankful that I have the ability to put this, show together that's going to highlight people in our community that are doing incredible things. Jonathan, thank you so much for jumping in, coming on the show, and I cannot wait for the world to hear the stories that you're going to be able to share today.
I appreciate it, Tyler. Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to talking to you, texting to you, and being around you. At the same time, I think I learned a lot from you. You say the same thing about me, but it's incredible what you're doing, Tyler.
You can
Incredible.
see why I brought him on. Y'all, Jonathan has been able to take this company to do great things. Tell us a little bit about Diamond Ridge. How did it start, and where where are we going now?
Well, it started, I graduated '03 at Russellville High School, and I found a job and I went straight to working in roofing and did one job here in Clarksville. And then the owners of that company, they're like, hey, we're going to Northwest Arkansas to work. Do you want to come? And I'm like, is there plenty of work? I want
Yeah.
at least 40 hours. I was working two jobs at that time. So I wanted minimum 40 hours. They're like, well, we can give you more than that if you want. I was like, I'm on board. And I was like, let's do it. So I worked about 9 months over there in Fayetteville and Springdale area. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I didn't have a life over there. Pretty much worked from sun up to sundown. I met the bars over there with them. I didn't drink. I just drank, Sprite at that time. But they let me in there. I learned how to play pool because I didn't know how to play pool. So I learned how to play a little bit of pool with them, and yeah, got in it, and that was in '03, and we're now 2024. Came back. I met a good gentleman down here, Adam Shadden,
Yeah.
and he finished training me. And I think I call it kind of he saved me. I say that because
Yeah.
I was already developed some bad habits on the roofing area, and he was able to retrain me and do some things that needed to be done properly. So that was good. So I'm always grateful for that. Besides that, he was a preacher, or he is a preacher, and a servant of God. So I got to hang out with somebody that loved God and had integrity.
Yes.
So I developed really good habits.
Oh,
One thing he would say, Jonathan, don't always do the job like you're doing it for God. So that really stuck right there. So it was always try to do the best that we can. And if we got it wrong, come back and fix it and things like that. So that always stuck with me. It's still behind my head all the time. So always do a great job. Always do a great job, and do it like it's for God. Because at the end, too, people are spending money.
that's right.
And when they're spending money, they're spending what is it? Sweat and blood and tears. It's part of somebody's life because you're giving it there at work. You're giving it out. So taking that consideration, it's always good to give them what they pay for. Give them a good quality work.
And you do such a good job with that because you do good work, but you do it in a life giving way where clients that have used you feel really confident on telling the world about you and the work that you've done for them. So working with kind of playing off doing all jobs like you're doing it for God, that really treating people, it goes so much farther than just putting shingles on a roof. Treating people with integrity and being honest and truthful with what you're noticing. That's the reason why I bet Diamond Ridge is having some of the success that it's having now.
Yeah, yeah. You know, eh, when I went on my own in 2012, I worked for Adam for about 10 years. And from 2012, I still was doing work, but I was already on my own. I put this thing on myself because I was so grateful that I was getting the houses. In this place, it was really hard to get something started here. And my old boss told me that. He said, Jonathan, it's really hard to get your foot in the door in here. But once you get it in, you're going to be good.
No, you kind of think about it. We've always kind of felt like a good community, but the good old boy system, that could have been relevant. People using certain
Yeah.
contractors, their parents used them, their
Yes.
grandparents used them, and then having somebody new, they were probably had some concern that you were going to be a fly by night kind
Yeah.
of company, right?
Yes. Yes.
When did you realize that things were like taking off?
Excuse me. So in 2012, I met a gentleman named Al, and he was a company. I think he come from Northwest Arkansas. He settled here, and he opened up a little office and was looking for roofing crews, subs, and all that. So he called me, and we sat down at. He took me to Stobie's. We had breakfast and we ate, we talked. That's the first time anybody has sat me down to have breakfast and talk over business and work and things like that. And I really liked it. That was pretty neat. I was okay, all right. So he told me I'm about to take off. We're going to Newport. Have a lot of jobs over there. Can you be ready? I told him I can. At that time, my crew. I've always had small crews. It was only me and another guy, just two of us. We're trying to, and this
Yeah.
guy, he's like, we got a lot of work. I mean, you're gonna have to find more people. And at that moment, at that time, it was hard to find people that want to work, especially
That's
the way
right.
we worked.
That's right. I mean, you hear roofers that they'll start. You'll hear them at like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, and if that sun's still up, they're still up there trying to get it done because
Yeah.
you can't have a house unroofed. Once when you get to that one point, you got to get it finished or wrapped up somehow.
Yeah, I don't know, but at least in the Hispanic side of the roofing crews and things like that, like everybody works from sun up to sundown. I don't know what is it. We don't know the 3 o'clock or the 4 o'clock or the 5 o'clock thing. We don't know that system. We don't know that system. But it was me and him, and luckily we found one. I took one of my buddies with me, which he was not used to that kind of work. So he did about a week there, and he had to come back home. But I found a gentleman. He come down. He's like, "Hey, I heard you're looking for somebody." I went and picked up this guy in a Walmart. I don't remember what time, but it was about 2 hours away from Newport. So I went and picked him up, and he was a great hand. And just three of us, we were knocking out, just us three. We were knocking three roofs a week.
Oh,
So I mean,
man.
we were getting after it. But yeah, he kept me busy for that whole year. And then things started slowing down a little bit, and then I started getting more calls around here in the Russellville area. And I told him, "Hey, I got these jobs," and he said, "Don't worry, line them up. When I get my jobs, you just put me on the schedule and all that." So that really gave me a little
Yeah.
room to wiggle to get my own jobs and do his jobs. So what I started doing, I wanted to do one good thing for each customer because I was so grateful of having this work. So I started. If I see a door from a fence door was kind of slant or something,
Right.
re-screw that thing. It wasn't gonna take me nothing. If they didn't have any turbines, and I had some old turbines that were good, I put them on there for free. I did this little process for about 8 years.
Oh,
About
man.
8 years. I didn't see nothing coming to me. Just having a little work, but then something just like a snowball. It just start going, going,
Yeah.
going, and I'm like, wow. Those good things I was doing them because it was come out of my heart, not to expect anything in return,
Yeah.
but I did get in return.
And we've worked together. I don't know, 7, 8, maybe plus years. I have no idea. I do remember the time that we met though.
Yeah.
And gosh, it was crazy. I was selling like my personal house at the time. And the buyer came through and said we needed a roof on the house. Well, so the roofer that used at the time said, no, this house, it's fine. It doesn't need a roof. Your report said that it did. So didn't know you. My roofer said that. And we were kind of at like this impasse, right? And me being like, hey, listen, I'm going to squash this bug right now. I got a roofing structural engineer hired and had him come evaluate it. And when we got his report back, it matched your report, right? And so I just remember thinking to myself then, I was like, man, if you can't beat them, join them. I put a roof on the house, but ultimately you were spot on, and that was a long time ago.
That was, and that's when the beginning of relationship of me and you was started, and that was awesome. I think things kind of lightened out with the
Yes.
right people, and my sister finding that house from you and all that, like incredible, which is my sister just had a baby.
Oh, let's go.
Had a baby and all that, so they kind of done a little bit of remodeling, a little bit there. Yeah, that was awesome. You didn't do real estate at that time.
No, I wasn't.
You did. You were at the what's it called? That
Yeah,
what's that
manage
hotel?
those hotels. Yeah.
You were there, and you were hustling there too, though.
Sure.
You've always been hustling. I think, I think we. Do you think we just have it in us or something? Are we born with it? Because I can remember myself since I was a kid. uh, I was always kind of a little bit athletic, always trying to push harder and everything. Me and my brother always very competitive. I was telling one of my friends that when I was here, teacher April Abril, she's American, but she knows a little bit of Spanish. Her dad had some rental property,
Yeah.
and couldn't find any help to clean them up and all that. So she asked us if we wanted to go, me and my brother. So we went, and we were grateful. We're getting paid and everything. We went, we cleaned it up, and everything was. He was so impressed. He told my parents that we work harder than adults, people.
And that's so true because I remember I wasn't in real estate at that time, but we kind of supported each other's, grind. And ultimately, when I made that transition, I was like, hey, listen, I'm going to do this real estate thing full time. I'm going to, it's it. I remember calling you and we talked about it, and I was like, hey, man, I've got a vision that I want to do. I want to give some information to the community. I want you to come on a YouTube video that I'm trying to do. And I remember you being so supportive of that and being like, hey man, come on. And it was awful. I'll try. I may post the link to it, but we just kind of shot it with a cell phone camera on the back of a house. It was so windy. But you've always supported those people that are around you trying to do good things as well.
I think that's one of I don't know if that's what God put in my heart to support people, because I think there's some people that don't get that support, and the person that grinds understands the other person that's grinding.
Yeah.
And if we can't support each other, then who is? At the end,
That's
we
right.
don't depend on that. We depend on supporting ourselves. But some people don't have that drive there. They have it in there. Maybe it's hidden because certain things, depends on how they grew up. Maybe they were grew up where they were told, they would never amount to anything.
Oh man.
So
Yeah.
if they were pushed that way, maybe it's our job to tell them, no, you can do it. You can. I see it in you, and you can see it on people when
Yeah.
they want it. And sometimes a little extra push, helps them get there. I remember when you called me and you would want to change to real estate and all that. I'm remembering that right now. I was at my kitchen. I'm at the dining table there. I was my family was there and everything, and I don't remember the time, but you told me that, and I walked out, and I'm like, man, I'm hearing you telling me all these things, and you've always been really. You're very structured. You're
That's
you're
right.
very structured. You're smart. You're centered on it. Me. I'm more all over the place. But I was like, Tyler, do it, get it,
Yeah,
grind and
you
get it,
were.
because you have potential in this thing.
But you motivate all the people. Like your inspirational quotes. If you don't follow this guy on, Facebook, you need to, because you always have the inspiration to, I don't know, give people the words of encouragement that they need, and it seems to be at the right time. Those are the kind of people that I can tell, you kind of want to structure your group with, if you will. Those people who have that same kind of positive impact.
Yeah, yeah. So talk about that. So I've wasted a little bit of time maybe being with the wrong people, but at the end, I've learned some things about it, and now I tell people, you know, when things are bad, when things are down,
Yeah,
don't don't sit at home depressed. I mean, you can go home, cry that night, whatever, get on your pillow, get yourself back up, and
that's
go
right.
work on yourself. It's a perfect time to work on yourself. Um, you're gonna have less distractions because when those dark moments come in your life,
That's right.
everybody leaves.
Man, I remember that you had actually called me one time, and I knew that the world was working and things were moving fast. But you had called me and you had said, you know, hey Tyler, there's more to life than just work, and I'm learning that now. For you to kind of call me out of the blue and us to have that conversation, what if you can tell the world what brought that on, man, I know that it's going to be impactful to everyone.
Okay. So when you grind and you grind the way we do, sometimes we forget that there's family. Even though you do kind of spend there, but
Yeah,
your priority, is like mine was. It was work. I was like sun up, sun down, work, work, work. I did spend time. I wasn't the type that maybe went to parties and stuff like that. I spent time with my kids. The time that I had, like usually it was just Sundays.
yes, that's
Sundays.
right.
And at that time, I was going to church too. And so I was at church all day Sunday too. So that took a lot of my time there. Um, so you lose focus on some things that are important for you on trying to grind. Those are sacrifices you make. Um, and then, things kind of start breaking apart. And unfortunately, I got divorced.
Oh man,
And people that have been divorced is like one of the darkest moments in your life.
really?
One of the darkest, And I've heard it before. My brother went through it, but you won't understand until you go through it. And I understood, and that's when I opened my eyes. And that whole stage, I think that's why I gave you that call too,
Sure.
because you start seeing things differently. You
Yeah.
see things differently, and I started to understand my brother. My brother sat a couple times with me at my place, and he's like, "Bro," and he just sat there. He just know that I'm here for you, whatever. Sometimes you can't really say anything, but having that someone there, to support and feel that. So I thought I needed to give that back to people. Especially, I got to understand, why men could be broken, why men probably never get back on their feet, because it's a
Yeah.
very dark moment. And if it wasn't, I decided, at that time, I was like, okay, um, yeah, I'm good with the work and everything. But besides that, I don't really have a social life, really. So I decided I'm gonna start working out here at my house
Yeah.
because I like working out here. And then I decided to start doing more videos. I started recording myself and doing those things, which I was very scared. But your YouTube video kind of pushed that little bit there.
And you are so good at all that stuff now. Like it's incredible. The pans and the transitions. I loved your one lake video with the train.
Oh man, that was nice. I really some of the stuff just comes out. We got all these kinds of apps that help you, do all these things and everything. But I just go. I got the drone that I use a lot for work, and especially going out to the lake. This is a
Yeah.
beautiful place. This is a beautiful place, and I'm like, I seen the train. I'm like, hurry up! I
Let's
gotta
go.
get a
This is the
footage of
moment we've
this.
been waiting for.
Yeah, I gotta get a footage of this. But like I was saying, those dark moments. So I started saying, I wanted to help. I wanted to help men and to let them know that because I went after a while, I got myself back up again. Honestly, I'm gonna tell you one thing. I didn't think I was gonna get back on my feet.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't think. I thought I was gonna stay broken probably forever. You go through
Oh,
that stage that you think not. I began to accept it, but I still wasn't gonna stop grinding.
yeah.
That was my thing. I was not gonna stop grinding, even though I was half broken, whatever. I was gonna keep grinding and keep going, pushing forward, and that's what I done. I know Moses told me, he's like, take some days off and all that.
That's right.
I was like, Moses, I can't. I got to keep myself busy.
I got to keep
I
going.
got to keep busy. I'm sorry. I told Moses, I was like, hey, I don't know. I'm screwing up right now. I'm back. I don't got Moses. I don't got nothing. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just like an autopilot right now. So that's fine, you know. So he was very supportive,
Yeah.
very very supportive. So I told that finally I went to Front Street and had a good time that day. And I had a friend there, and he was going through something too like that. And I told him, I was like, hey man, how are you? He's like, man, I'm all right. I was
Yeah.
like, look here, man, you don't need to be here. Okay. If you're not good, you don't need to be here because the bars is not a good place for you to heal, for you to work on yourself. No.
That is
You come
such
back,
good advice.
you
That's
come
right.
back, you come back when you're better, when you're good. That's when you can come back.
Yeah.
But you can't take care of your problems here.
Oh
So that's
man.
why I said working out, educating yourself, surround yourself with good people,
That's right.
intelligent people. I like intelligent, smart people, you know,
Yeah.
because when you're the least intelligent in there, boy, do
Which is
you
my
learn.
case most of the time.
Ooh, boy, do you learn so much.
That's right.
So much. So that's why I go to Roundtable. That's why I hang with my
Yeah.
friend Tommy. That's why I hang around with you, hang around with Tao, Obi. All these people, great people, you know.
That's
You're
right.
not gonna tell me a gossip about so and so. You're gonna tell me, hey, how's business? Hey,
Yeah.
what you got for this week? Just some type of business or encouragement. Oh, do you know about this new law that came by? Oh, wow, tell me more about it,
Tell me more
okay?
about that. Yeah.
So your the way you think changes.
And to kind of go back to, if you think of the worst criminals in the world, the only punishment that they can do for them in prison, which is, considered the worst punishment for the worst criminals in the worst penitentiaries in the world, solitary confinement, right? That's where people can feel like they are broken, right? And the one thing that was so cool to kind of hear from you is that yes, you have a realization that I need to go focus on myself. I need to do some things that are going to be good for me, but you have to do those in the right way. And it's not going to be, if you're in a bad place, going to a bar where it could bring on negative experiences.
Yeah.
That is such good wisdom, Jonathan.
Yeah, yeah. And I think a lot of that I learned that from close examples that I had in my life, you know, and I decided I didn't want to go that route.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go that route. I want to try something different. And another thing is I have three beautiful girls.
Oh, you do, man. And they are all killing it.
I have three beautiful girls, so I have to stand up back on my feet and I have to set a good example. I'm not gonna be perfect and I'm probably gonna make mistakes, you know. But what I tell my parents is like, teach me how I can fix this problem, okay? Whenever
Yeah.
my kids grow and I have the black sheep in my family, you know, which we all have the black sheep in our family, and every family there's one black sheep in
Every
there.
family.
And teach me how I can fix that because, you know, I'm not saying you were a bad parent, but I want to be better than you
Yeah.
and I want my kids to be better than me. Every
Yes.
generation is supposed to get better.
Oh, that's right, man. And those life experiences, having raising successful kids, running a big company, teamwork
Teamwork.
is so important with Diamond Ridge. I see it all the time. Do you feel your experiences have changed the way that you can effectively lead others on your team?
Explain that to me.
Yeah, I know. So I guess and lack of better words, we're kind of a melting pot of our experiences, right? Diamond Ridge they just are one unit. They're one good team. Do you think your life experiences have helped you become a better leader for the people at Diamond Ridge?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I think every experience shapes us all.
Yeah.
Every experience. I mean, since the day that we're born. I remember day before yesterday, I took the kids to the First Baptist for their Awana thing.
Yes.
My Jimena, my middle one, was not going to be with her friend. She was going to a complete different class. And she was so scared and nervous. And I'm like, don't be scared. You know, this is not scary.
This is
Try coming from another world to a different world and not knowing the language.
Oh
Try that.
man.
I remember that when I got to California. I remember that, and I remember going into the swing, and I was by myself, and
Wow.
like seeing everybody. And I remember when I got in class, I remember I didn't have a notebook, didn't have nothing. He gave me some paper, and he handed me I think one or two pencils that he had extra, and I thought that was very great. But I remember being very alone at that time because
Oh man.
it's a whole different world, a whole different world. Um, and then not knowing the language. I remember, kids are kids, you know.
That's right.
I remember they're like, hey, go in there, that little room right there. That's the bathroom, you know. They send me to the girls' bathroom, you know.
No
They
way.
send me to the girls' bathroom. I was like, oh my goodness, you know. But all those little things, those challenges, those hard moments, that's what it's like. Don't feel sorry about yourself. You
Yeah.
know, those are challenges. They're experiences, hard moments that they're gonna build you and shape you. You can either say, "Oh, I feel sorry for myself," or you can say, "Oh, okay, all right, let me
I
change
got
this up." All
this.
right, because I remember when I worked at this other place before. I was doing roofing. That told me the words that told me was like, "Jonathan, you will never make it.
Told you this?
You would never make it." Knowing I mean, one of their hardest worker and everything. I think it was something out of it didn't want me to leave.
Yeah.
But I was like, I didn't say nothing back. Just stayed quiet. I've always been real good at staying quiet. I talk now more. Now I defend a little bit myself a little bit more, but I've always done that. But in my head, I was like, just wait.
Just wait. Watch me.
I just wait. I'm here to learn all this, and I'm gonna learn it. I'm gonna learn it, and I'm gonna take it to the next level. I am.
So that guy obviously wasn't a great leader, shaping employees to be the
He was
best,
good. I'm not
but
gonna say. If anything, I'm grateful for those words. You know what I mean?
because it inspired you.
Yes, yes, and
What
I don't have nothing
words?
against him, nothing like that. I actually love him a lot and everything, and I think he was just a little bit in the influence of other things,
Yeah,
and maybe a little bit jealousy saying
probably.
that.
Yeah.
But now he looks at me with respect and everything, and that. But no,
If
I don't.
someone was wanting to lead a team, what's some good words of advice that you could give them to be an effective leader?
If you want to lead a team, you have to set the example. You have to
Okay.
be there. I always believe be in there with them and show
Yeah.
them how to be there and show them that that's one thing, you know. When I go now to the jobs, some of the guys think that I'm just a guy that doesn't know anything and I'm just, and all that. And then they'll get to talking, and some of them have worked with me at that time when I was still grinding, and they're like, "Oh no!" Well, I'll get a hammer and get some button caps, and I'll be like, "Pap, pap." And they're like, "Oh, okay, all
This guy
right."
could this guy could slay.
Yeah, but I think being in there with them, show them the ropes. If you're gonna be a leader, you can't really order. Your leader
Yeah,
has to
that's right.
show them. Um, you move up to a higher spot and all that. Definitely, you can't be doing the work anymore. But I think showing the work, appreciating what they're doing,
Yes.
and let them know that they're appreciated and their work and everything counts, and you know uh, do something good for them. Do something
Yeah.
good. We respect our guys that we have. They're awesome people, and they're taking care of their families. My mom always tells me, like, Jonathan, you guys are doing good. I always pray that you guys keep getting blessed because there's families that are being blessed because of you guys.
That's right.
In the same way, we're being blessed because all the homeowners, are grateful with us and give us work and decide to use us. So the ladder keeps going up. As they are grateful with us, we are grateful with the people above us. We are grateful with our community, and friends like you and everybody else that put that word of mouth on people.
That's
That's the
right.
best advertisement that we have, the word of mouth. And once that takes off, there's no stopping
There's
that.
no, it just goes for forever.
Yeah.
It follows you around. Entrepreneurs, it's a whole different mindset, right? If there was somebody listening that is interested in opening up a business that they've always loved, what kind of advice would you have for them in their journey?
YouTube.
Oh, good, love it, man.
YouTube.
Right? Yeah,
That's what I say. I say that we have all the information here in our hands,
that's right.
And just because you work 8 to 10 hours doesn't mean you can't go after work and get in there and search and all that. So whatever you're trying to start, I would say search it, educate yourself, see what that is, see what the market is for that too. You want to know that because I had somebody wanted to put like some type of audio around here.
Like car stereo
Yeah,
audio?
yeah,
Okay.
and it could work. I'm not saying it doesn't, but honestly, what I've seen, I mean, I don't see the market too
That's
much
right.
for it.
Yeah.
So educate yourself. Don't throw yourself out. A lot of people like to throw everything, just like a little, like a restaurant.
Yes.
A restaurant, not knowing a little bit more about it, there's only like a 30% margin on it. It's very low. That's if you have alcohol in it,
Oh
So it's
man.
it's it's a little hard. I'm not saying you can't do it, but it's a lot of work, a
Yeah.
lot of work. And then you have to fight a lot of things. So I would say start small
Okay.
and then expand.
Okay. Kind of like stair steps, find all the information that's available online and
Yeah,
then work
yeah,
your way into it until you can blow it up,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So the little taco stands, the little taco
Food
trucks,
trucks, yeah.
that's a good way to start out. Something small. That way, if it doesn't work out, you don't lose a lot of money.
Yeah.
I'm a low risk taker.
Okay.
Some people are high risk takers. I'm not. So it depends where you're at too. But you have to risk it. Anything you put it, you have to. There's a risk. That's why people don't want to jump into starting a business because they don't want to risk.
Risk tolerance is a very real thing. But
But
with all of that kind of looping back, from where it started to where it is today, Jonathan, what are some of those moments that you've had that you are just the most proud of on your journey?
you know, Moses,
Yeah, yeah.
very. I mean, God just set this guy right there in front of me. I was at Crow Mountain the other day with my girls and everything, and I showed my oldest like, look at that church right there. That's where I met Moses right there. So what happened is that I had this guy named Salo working with me. No. His nephew worked me first.
Okay.
Okay. And he's like, hey, I got an uncle that needs some work and all that. Can he come on? I was like, bring him on. He brings him and everything. So they're both working and fighting and all that, because they're relatives, and that's the way they are. Next thing you know, Miguel leaves and Salo stays. And he's like, hey, a buddy just called me, needs some work and all that. I was like, bring him on.
Yeah.
That was Moses. Shows up on that church and all that. And we work. And from there, man, I seen him nailing on. I was like, this guy is good.
This guy's it.
This guy is good. All right, keep working, all that. And we built a relationship and just kept working and noticed that we're staying all day working. He was coming from Little Rock
No way.
every day from Little Rock. I mean, and we're finishing at 9:30 at night.
And he's coming back at daylight, 6.
Yes.
Yeah. Man, that is crazy.
I remember him having car problems. He's like, hey, I'm going to be a little late. I'm over here. Okay, good. But he did that for about a year. And then he left for a little bit. He wanted to start his own little thing with drywall and all that. Things didn't work out too good. He calls me back and he's like, hey, can I come? I was like,
Tomorrow.
Come on. Let's go. Let's do it.
We're at 123 Banana Street. Come today.
Yeah. And then, but he's like, I want to work with my own crew and get a job. I was like, that's fine with me.
Let's do it.
That's fine with me. Just know that I have my A crew over here and all that. I'm going to keep them busy first. My A crew started going downhill.
Okay.
Started going downhill. I started doing more of the boss thing, so I wasn't there every day
That's
with
right.
them. I was just checking up. But I was showing up like 6:30 in the morning every day, and I was noticing they were getting there at 7, then they were getting there at 8,
Uh-oh.
9 o'clock. Yeah, 9 o'clock. I'm like, all right.
You've
Boom.
lost 3 hours of work.
I let them go, and I told Moses, hey, I'm going to let them go. Do you want all the work? He's like, yeah, all right.
Let's do it.
I let them go. Some of them got their feelings hurt, and they tried to come back at me. I was like, you're coming at 9 o'clock in the morning. What do you expect,
Yeah.
So Moses took over and everything, and then it started working well. And I was focusing more on the work area. And then we started talking a little bit like, hey, we can get into drywall and stuff like this. And okay. I was like, maybe we should start our own company and something else. So we talked about it more and more. And I guess he talked it over with his wife. I talked it over with my ex wife. And everything seemed to push that way. And yeah, we opened Diamond Ridge Construction.
Oh man.
So that was a good moment. So I'm gonna be honest. My company that I had before wasn't really a legit company register. It was just more of a
Yeah,
name and stuff like
handyman.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So going to Diamond Ridge Construction, it was really hard in the beginning for me to go to Diamond Ridge Construction because I was dry homes. I mean, that was my little baby right there, you
That's
know?
right.
I remember it's all blue and everything. But man, if you can see me now, like
It's
I'm
bling.
always Diamond Ridge for everything, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I'm very proud of it. So that was one of my greatest moments, Moses right there. And like,
The formation when it all came
yeah,
together.
and this got me hungry. You know, I've always been hungry, and to meet another person hungry with you and want to work with you together like that.
Yes.
Okay, you know, I remember our CPA told us like, okay, we're gonna do this. Um, let's come back in a year
Right.
because the partnership. Let's come back in a year. Let's see if this works. You know, she already had something in mind. We come back in a year, and you see how me and Moses are and everything.
That's right.
And she was like, wow, your guys' relationship's amazing. Yeah, this is, you guys passed the test, you know, because I wanted you guys to come back in a year because usually partnerships don't last more than a year.
Really.
Don't last more than a year. All right. So we opened Diamond Ridge in 2020. We're going to 2025, and we're still very strong. Very, very, very strong. Like I told Moses, there's no divorce in our relationship.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we're gonna do it. We're gonna make it
Well,
work, whatever. But there's no divorce, you know.
you kind of don't think about it, but that makes perfect sense. So not only do you have to grow the business together, but your partnership has to grow as things evolve.
Yeah.
You know. So
Yeah. And it works perfectly. God just put us together like a puzzle, because you know He is very business oriented. He's a very smart person. I'm more the people's person.
Yeah.
He's more the numbers guy. I'm more relationships, stuff like that. So it works out perfect, you know. He lets me do this stuff right here, podcast and network. And
That's right.
I didn't used to talk before. Now you can't get me to shut up now. That was one of the greatest moments. I was telling Obi yesterday. Yesterday, I think I was on the phone with him. I was telling Obi that one of the greatest moments too was when we got our contractor's license.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Wow, was that amazing? He showed me that paper, and to other people that might be nothing, but when you've been working without one of those papers, and when you've done already a couple jobs like insurance job and they ask for those documents and you don't have those, you feel like I'm supposed to be good at this and I don't even have this. I was like, so it brings you down. So when that paper, we have that, you know, our contractor license, how much we're good for and everything, our workman's comp, our insurance, I'm like, we are a legit company, you know.
That what a what a story that had just truly got unfolded and told through time, and people don't realize that, you know, that it's not just about opening a business and starting something, but there's a bunch of red tape and paperwork and exams and fees and licensing and testing that goes into doing it all the right way, that a lot of people, you know, may just not know that you need to do it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of curveballs. The rules get changed every year, you
Yeah,
know.
they
There's
do.
all kinds of fees, or kinds of, you know, being licensed, bonded, and then you got to be bonded on the roof inside. I remember we had our what is it? Or is it general liability or workman's comp? General liability for a roof inside, and they got into our Facebook and noticed that we were doing metal roofs, and it went from $4,000 to $8,000. You know, Moses called me. He's like, "This happened like this."
Why
And I'm
would
like,
insurance? Why would it go up that much
because
for?
everybody wants their money, you know.
Man,
It's
that
part of running a
is
business.
that is
But
crazy.
I told him, let's do it. He said, "What do you think?" I was like, "Do we stop doing metal roofs or do we keep doing it or what?" I was like, "Let's pay it and let's keep doing it because
Let's
if
keep doing
anything,
it.
we'll probably
Yeah,
be the only ones that have that kind of insurance on it, and we're more legit. Let's do it."
man, I
And
love it.
doing things the right way are costly, but they're very effective. Very effective. So crawl, walk, and run.
Oh man. Y'all, I cannot tell you that knowing this guy for the time that I've known him, if you have any questions, reach out to him and his team. Man, they have brilliant advice and can help navigate whatever steps make sense for you next. Thanks, everyone. Bye.